All right, all right, all right. Let's get back to the experiment. So, took apart my rubber band machine and took apart the AC motor. And I had an idea of getting this to turn with magnets so it's self-perpetual. And you can see the energy that we were building up and the pressure we were building up in this. Now, I'm not going to run the Taj Mahal with it, but it's just based on principles and different systems of generating energy. So right here I got, this is the bottom section for turning the rubber band. So I was thinking earlier when I was saying about the wall's got to and fro, and what you're having is you're having a push, and then every so often you're having these positions. The way the AC power lines work, there's, just say they're in Pythagorean sequences of, if it's 325 miles for a wavelength, um, for the Schumann resonance, give or take, and the wavelength to that can be broken down in increments, and you can use that length of wire before you have nodes, and you put a node there, and basically then you got the reversal. Then you go and start it off again another 300 and something miles, but you would break it down in little increments. So I started thinking about that, and from the video I was showing you earlier, it's pretty interesting how. Well, let's just go through the process here. So I got a regular cord here. Okay, we're going to come off the cord on the hot side. Nothing with the negative and nothing with the neutral. Okay, and we're going to go into this bank of LEDs. And we're going to come out of the LEDs and we're going to go to earth ground. And we're going to try an assortment of different things here. I want to explain some concepts and ideas I have and what's going on with what all these LEDs are lighting up. So and what I did, something fascinating. This is an amp watt appliance load tester. So this thing runs on 120 volts, 15 amps, up to 1875 watts it'll read. So we're going to check. So I have the cord plugged into that, and we're going to come out of that. I'm just going to plug into the wall. So you guys ready? I suggest don't do this at home. Okay, so I'm plugged into the wall. I'm hot right here. And, I'm not touching it, but come over and I can do that. So over here, here's the other end to that hot. You can see that it just always says 2. This is on watts, but if I put it to amps, it goes to 0 to watts. 2 watts maybe for the meter. It's nothing to do with what's going. So we're going to measure wattage and amperage coming that this is going to use. Now right here, these are all 1.5 volts. And there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17 of them. And they're not on right now, even though we're plugged into the wall, one side. So we're going to take this other end, and as soon as I put that on, there you go. Real bright. Super bright. Okay? So, something I want to explain to you. Let's go ahead and turn them off. Something I want to explain to you with these. I got these set up like this one here. The long side is the positive side, and that's on the positive rail, okay? Which is on the rail coming from the ground, okay? Now, I also have some of these down here that where the positive is on the positive side, okay. And I also have some that are the positive side is on the negative side, okay. So let's go ahead and touch ground to see how bright they are. If I put a toroid inductor in there, let's go ahead back to ground, put in the clip here, and then if I connect to the other side of the inductor, you can see they go on, and they got brighter. Okay. Now if I want to this time go to a diode. Now this way we're facing going towards the ground. So let's touch that. Oh, what happened here? So we have, do that again. So we have reds and yellows only. Okay. I'm touching it over here, and we got reds and yellows only. Why is that? It's because the positive side is coming from ground, is the reds and the yellows. Now let's go ahead and turn this diode around and go to the other side of the diode. Now let's touch the, again, now what's on now? All your blues and greens. So all your blues and greens are the LEDs that have the opposite pole. But meanwhile, if I get rid of the diode and go straight directly to earth ground, they all go on. Riddle me that, guys. So we're dealing with AC out of the wall, bunch of LEDs, and here's the kicker. You ready? 17 of them, volt and a half each to run them. So we're using energy. We're still back to 2 watts here. We're using no wattage to run these light bulbs. We'll go over to amps. We're using no amps to run these light bulbs. Of course, no wattage, no amps. So, let me take it a little step further for you guys. Let's go ahead and we are going to pulse the ground. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to tap the ground. The lights are going to go on and off. Okay, you see that? Now let's go ahead and go over to this is the amp side. Now you can see there's, when I flash, so I'm pulsing right now by touching the ground. So that's at amperage. Let's go ahead and change it to wattage. It's back to its 2, so that's the meter using 2. Now I'm going to pulse the ground. Now you can see that there's a pull from that side going to the wall. So on the next video, we're going to take this meter, we're going to go to the ground with it, and this time we're going to, well, I can't do it with the ground. I got to figure out if I do this with a voltmeter with current. I want to see if there's current come from the ground to fire up the ones that have the reverse poles. Remember, these are reverse poles. A group of them are one direction, a group is the other. But meanwhile, they light up. It's pretty fascinating. Pretty bright. Bright as heck. Now I'm going back for the inductor. Inductor, making it brighter. No inductor, just touching ground. So over here, the first time, I'm seeing a spark. See that spark? So we're using AC out of the wall, directly out of the wall. So let's go ahead and unplug this meter. They're off. There's the meter unplugged. Now let's go ahead and just plug this directly in. So it's plugged. Well, let's plug that in. There we go. So we're plugged just into the wall itself. Here's the wire into the wall. We'll just come up the positive side. This is going to be kick-ass, this motor. Yeah. And there we go. Unplug it. Here's the blue. So the blue's got the positive on the positive side. This is AC. I've been getting my ass shocked, right, guys? I'm touching it. So here's the reds, and here's the positive. The longer side's facing me. So these are the opposite poles it takes to run these LEDs. Pretty interesting stuff. Leave your comments. Leave your comments.